intended to be our more reflective discussion of theoretical underpinnings of and before we get started, I think everybody knows everybody except everybody may not know Samantha. Does everybody know Samantha? Samantha is our new office manager who will be locating down in Norcross. This is when the great shop will happen. She'll be in Norcross, and then Tiffany will be up here in Carol's office, and then Carol will move into Adam's old office because Carol will be assuming her role as sort of operations manager, which basically involves a lot of curriculum assistance, budget management, faculty, dean support of faculty management kinds of things. So anyway, congratulations all around. Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Hello. So first of all, the other introduction, because not everybody has met Aunt Nellie. Met Aunt Nellie?
Oh, Aunt Nellie.
Now I know her name.
Aunt Nellie, yes.
Yeah.
Aunt Nellie, we'll start our communities of practice by talking about the fact that Aunt Nellie is probably after Robin, the second faculty member to join the community. When we did the very first application, you had to write an Aunt Nellie essay, didn't you?
Yes.
And, oh, I love it. Talk about coming full circle.
Yeah.
When we got ready to start the curriculum and we wanted to do an application, we wanted to have a writing sample on that application. And Robin and I were trying to figure out what to do, and so we said, well, you know what, why don't we just have them write a letter to their Aunt Nellie explaining what OT is. And so we drafted this thing that said, congratulations, you're so excited you've completed your application to OT school, and you call your Aunt Nellie and you tell her all about it, and Aunt Nellie says, well, that's nice theory, but what's occupational therapy anyway? What's this program you're getting into? And so we had the most, I wish we had kept all of them, I'm not sure we did. Initial letters from all of these applicants addressed to Aunt Nellie. And as it turns out, in talking, this was an extremely well-qualified class because there was a lot of kind of demand in the neighborhood, in the area for OT. And so when they finally came, we found out that the thing that they were most nervous about in their application, I think the interviews were one, but the other was the Aunt Nellie letter. So Robin cooked up this idea, Robin and I cooked up this idea to make an actual Aunt Nellie, and Chip Underwood, Robin's husband, went up to the Cabbage Patch, right, factory?
Yeah.
And got the fabric and made Aunt Nellie for us.
Wow.
And she welcomed everybody with a sign that says, welcome to OT School, dearie, we're so proud of you. So Aunt Nellie went to the first graduation. She was in a bikini. She went to,
I stayed in my room that night.
Yeah, that's right.
I abandoned her. She's been to
Yeah.
graduation parties.
yeah, she was at the Halloween party dressed as me, and I was dressed as Aunt Nellie. So Aunt Nellie had a very active life during the first part of the curriculum. And then as more people joined, there were lots of opinions about Aunt Nellie. I think it was Sarah who really hated Aunt Nellie.
Yeah.
But Sarah hated Aunt Nellie. And then Irma always had to hide Aunt Nellie in the closet whenever we did PEDS because we were in the small building. And we only had the one lab, and the kids got scared of Aunt Nellie. So Aunt Nellie would go in the closet, and then Aunt Nellie would come out of the closet, and sometimes she would.
Or Keith put her in the closet hanging down, so he knew I was gonna open it to fall down on me.
Oh, no. I
It
didn't
scared
know that.
me, so then I took her and hung her on the back of his door.
Oh, no.
So when he walked in and closed the door, there she was.
There's been a lot of Aunt Nellie. Aunt Nellie does have
gets
movable
around.
fingers, which is a little bit of an
Yes.
issue depending on when you're touring students through and what the current students have been doing with Aunt Nellie. We always had to do an Aunt Nellie check to make sure she was appropriate to welcome visitors. So anyway, since we're talking about communities of practice and traditions and things, we thought it was time to bring Aunt Nellie back to everyone's consciousness. She is now under her second or third refurbishing? Fourth. She gets sent back home to Chip periodically to get fixed. And she has glasses, but she's lost her glasses. So if anybody has an old pair of glasses for Aunt Nellie, she could certainly see better with glasses. And unfortunately, she's lost her eyelashes. She had eyelashes. They came off. They went on because she gets a lot of wear and tear. So anyway. I do not know, I did text Chip to see if he'd be open to a second Aunt Nellie for Norcross. He's going, thank you, no. So I think that Norcross needs to think about inventing their own version of Aunt Nellie. But anyway, now these props that came Up to Aunt Nellie. I had nothing to do with, and I don't know why they're there, so.
Where has she been?
Uh-huh.
Where has she been?
Well,
She's
it
been
looks
in-
like she
At
had
your house, Robin?
Yes,
Oh, she's
in
been
our
living
house.
with you.
she's been with us in the basement.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't bother down
Martha let her off, basically.
It does look like she's had a tune-up though.
Yeah.
Has she had a
No, he
tune-up?
did surgery on her.
Okay, I thought so.
Oh, he did
Yeah.
She looks like she's had
Yeah.
some
A
adjustments.
little
Yeah.
cosmetic work.
She definitely around the chest area.
Yes, that's what I was thinking,
She
yes.
was much bigger.
Enhanced
She had
Augmentation.
breast-
No, she's had a
He did a
reduction.
breast reduction.
Yeah. Yeah.
She did have one because when I had to trade places with Aunt Nellie, it was rather embarrassing. We tend to keep up with her standards as it were. So anyway, okay, I also want to tell you that this idea came about actually when Wendy and Mary and I were talking about, well, a lot of things, bringing in new faculty, ACOT stuff, trying to get kind of everything going. And Wendy, I think, it actually was the one who originally suggested that we do a topic on communities of practice. And say how you said it. You said, what did you say? You said you had read some of the materials.
Yeah, this summer I read some of these chapters, which you probably all have now, and it finally, after 2 years, it finally just sort of sunk in as to the curricular foundations and the ideas, and the important ideas about the community of practice, which is this underpinning of this curriculum. And it has just taken me this long and being in it and watching it and seeing it and then reading it again to really understand how important that is to understanding how our everyday life is with students. And so I thought that it would be a really good foundation for us as we think about the year and the changing curriculum, and for ACOT site visitors to have a complete understanding and conversation about that. I don't know if that's what I said, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, what you said is actually echoes something that Mary
I'm sticking behind what I just said.
This also echoes something that Mary has been saying for a while, as she's been most responsible for rolling out programs in Norcross, is the issue of people really understanding what we mean by it and the practices. And what you said, and this is, again, Mary's been saying this for a while too, is, okay, if we're a community of practice, what are our practices? Like, I think we need to spend some time on what do we mean by that? So the way we've designed the day is that, first of all, we're gonna start off just looking at our own communities of practice, which is why we have multiple plates. We'll talk about that in a second. We're gonna sort of do a little bit of discussion about our own communities of practice in the range in which they will be, kind of see where that takes us. And then when that's done, we're gonna have a little transition ceremony, because in communities, things change and shift over time, and we've had some changes and shifts that we wanna honor and mark, and that it had been, we've all been like this getting the semester started, so we wanted to wait till we could take a breath to do that. And then we'll have a break, and then I'm gonna give you what, in essence, is a course that John taught at UGA for many years. I'm gonna give that to you in about an hour in a PowerPoint presentation. I'm gonna at least try and hit some of the highlights. Much of it is covered in the clinical reasoning book, which was also, disclaimers, which was also Wendy's idea of, I think you ought to have everybody read this. And I was like, really? I've never heard of it. But, so that's how you got the opportunity to do a little extra reading in your life in case you didn't have enough to do. And then we're gonna kind of move into, and we put on the agenda lists of people, and I just actually sat and did this. I was trying to, off the top of my head, I could think of the many things that many people have done in this faculty, and there are more. But I didn't pre-prep people for this at all. I'm just gonna ask people to talk about what it is they do in their courses, because there's a lot of examples of how this information is played out. And these were ones just off the top of my head. I'm sure there are other ones. I realized I wanted to ask Carol to comment too, because there's an administrative component. I've asked all of our administrative staff to be here as well, because it's not a community that's just a faculty thing. It's a community of everybody, students, faculty, our clinical colleagues, our adjuncts, our everybody. So we'll do some time with that. And then just sort of wrap up with sort of take-home kinds of things. So that's the plan for today. Okay? Are you all right with that? We will have a break at 10:15. And we do have lunch, and So just, what do we mean by community practice? I just want to make sure we're all in the ballpark of what we mean by that. What's a community practice? Looking at you, Lou, I know you do this because I saw you do it in your presentation. What do you think we mean by community practice?
Getting people gathered together to talk about common interests and common
Yeah?
ways of knowing
Yeah.
and common things to do together.
Yep, it's people, it's kind of people doing stuff together. And it's not, it's sort of a natural occurrence in our society. So to tune ourselves into that, we thought we might start off by everybody kind of thinking about the different communities of practice that they are engaged in. So for example, for me, I'm a golfer, so I have all my golfer buddy kinds of things, all right? I've been a clinical reasoning, professional reasoning groupie ever since the Boston study came out. So there's actually a whole network of people across the country that I sort of connect with on that topic and other kinds of things. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It might be professional, it might be personal, it might be the, all the parents of the kids that your kids hang out with. I mean, it can be all kinds of things. We were trying to get transparent colored circles, which turned out to be a really huge thing, and then Carol came up with this brilliant idea of different colored plates. So let me illustrate what we have in mind here. You will pick as many colors plates as you want, and I will put, I'll put choir as one of my communities of practice, although I'm on sabbatical right now. And I'm just gonna put my name on it so we know what that is, okay? That's what we're asking you to do. Then I might have another one, which is UGA Golf. And so I'm gonna end up with multiple communities of practice that I engage in, okay? Now, y'all are OTs, Mary said they'll figure it out as to what we'll do with all this when we get them all made out, but we have to start by getting them together, and then I think we'll see what we have in the way of overlap. Communities of practice, does that sound like?
You put our names on them?
Yeah, I put a name at the bottom, yeah. Okay, so come get paper plates, however many you need, I can start passing them out, but you need all of them.
And there is some chart paper if you want to display yours on paper and be
Oh,
so
see,
creative.
I knew that,